The Last M'Lellan. Launching. A House of Nothing. I'm not late, am I? Maybe she's delivering a video. Nah, we don't start for a few more minutes. You can leave your tape with Slow-Mo Crow. Tape? Oh, sorry, I'm Maya. Right, the traveling artist. Welcome. I'm Emily. I work here. Great, Rita says you're the producer? Oh, did she? Guess so. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I know the feeling. You weren't around earlier at the lunch thing? No, I don't live in town. I just come in to work on the station. Really? That's quite a hike, isn't it? I know some shortcuts. Oh, okay. Better get started. You look busy. No, it's okay. I think we're about to be ready to start the broadcast. Should I sit down? Not just yet. Rita does a little intro. Got it. Quite a crowd in here. Really? There's like 7 or 8 of us, I think. Yeah, well, for this town, I've barely seen anyone all day. Oh yeah, ghost town. Yeah, kinda. Okay, I'll check if Rita's ready. You can just hang out back here somewhere. We'll let you know when it's time to come on set. Great, thanks for having me. You too. You know what I mean. Why am I so awkward with visitors here? Just used to seeing the same 12 people day in, day out, I guess. At least the floor is staying dry. My left boot has a hole. Looks like I just made it before the sky broke open. Looks like the ceiling is holding up okay, just the usual leaks. Ben and Bob working on a project. Found a radio in the woods a week or two ago. Cleaned the circuits with rubbing alcohol and left it in the sun. Seems like it was working okay again, so why are they taking it apart? The neighbors are okay. Miss you, cross-eye. Ready when you are. How does it look outside? Gross. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Saturn is in retrograde. What does that even mean? Yep. Think it'll let up? I guess we'll see what Elmo says. My poor tomatoes. Okay, 3, 2. Hi, it's Rita. This is your evening broadcast. 8192. 8192. The extension it told me to call earlier was 1928. Coincidence? Illuminati? Wow, it's really raining out there. Damn, I can hear it from here. We have a few leaks. Put some pots and bowls underneath them. Thanks, Ron, for lending your extra pots and bowls. I hope you had a good day despite the weather, although it was really nice earlier, right? I had a good day. I met a new friend. She's going to join us in a minute or so. Maybe you saw her earlier around lunch, or if you didn't meet her, then you'll meet her in a minute. Or if you met her already, but you still want to hang out, I'm sure there's plenty that we can talk about. Wow, so this is 8192. Is that right, Emily? What is she talking about? That's a lot of a broadcast. I came in around the 5s, so I've only been around for half of them. And back then in the 5s, let's see, I did Night Noise, we had Swap Show and the Bird Show, and people were just coming in and dropping off tapes all the time. And now, now it's just the evening broadcast. But it's not like, I'm not saying we're in decline or anything like that. I love the evening broadcast. I think it was the first show we had on here. Not produced by the company. It's the first community show. Before that, it was just security footage from the woods. Yeah, so it's the spine of the station. Or maybe it's the heart? Or the skin? What part of Webb's body do you think it is? Why don't you come on by and tell us about it? We're going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. Or, if you don't want to brave the storm, you can always give us a call. Same number as always. Okay, so we're going to start with a tape. This is an old one. It's one of mine, but maybe you haven't seen it. Or, if you have seen it, it's been a while, so maybe you've forgotten. Shit. What? She asked me to queue up her tape on Pueblo Donado. Where is it? I don't know. It's probably still shelved. I'll find it. Birdie. Slow-mo crow. Impossible to say, not much tape in there. Old bumpers. Someone should come in here and label all these. Put this all in chronological order, although I guess it's hard to remember sometimes, the order of things. Some of these tapes were made at the same time, or we started one video and then started another in the middle, then came back later. Time is out of joint. It's like sweeping a beach. Wait a minute. Grimy tape from behind the shelves. It's damp. Ron said he started filing by language, so favorite tires, that's English. Disagreeable birds, also English. Zone, that's in Japanese. Getting warmer, aha. What would you do without me? Hold off playing this until Reedy's done setting up. Thanks, babe. Some people that lived here a long time ago before the company town, before the airstrip, like over 100 years ago, so I hope you enjoy it. This is cool. Have you seen it before? Makes me sleepy. I know what you mean. I used to date a filmmaker. He worked in a similar style, slideshow gothic. He did stuff for the History Channel, like really dry shows about war, the banality of the trenches. It's not a bad way to learn about history, though. It took us all a week coming in here after the day's broadcast. We're done with the night loop running in the background. We'd play her narration on cassette and write down times and scrub frame by frame through the whole video to try and cut it just so excruciating. It is history, right? Or is it just a story? It's good to have a portrait of the people who used to live here, and it does a good job of communicating who they are, what they did, what they were like, I think. People should know. A community shouldn't just disappear even when it disappears. Or is there even a difference? Although now the tape is just here on a shelf. Every once in a while, we dust it off and it shuffles around the airwaves again like an old dog. Sorry, did I say something wrong? Oh, sorry. I must have had some weird shit going on in my head tonight, you know? Sure. Sorry I spaced out. Don't worry about it. You should... Oh, I should go sit. Yeah, it's almost over. Where are you staying tonight? Here in town. Good. Yeah. Even before the storm came in, I thought it'd be nice to get some rest before the long hike back to the highway. Ron offered his loft. What? He said I could sleep in his loft. Oh, honey, he's talking about his barn. Ron, nobody wants to sleep in your barn. It's not haunted. but it is haunted. Bob got some pretty clear voices there on his tape recorder. He wanted to have a seance, but couldn't round up enough brave souls to go all the way around the table. You'll stay at my place. Oh, thanks. Oh, Ron. I'll just sleep here in the studio. Need anything? Actually, do you have an extra toothbrush? It'd be nice to sleep under the stars. I do, actually. Oh my god, I've been in the woods, you know? Right. I actually used a twig this morning. Kind of chewed up one end. I've done that. Really? I'm disappointed. I thought I invented it. You did not. That's been the way people have been brushing their teeth for millennia. Even better, you can chew on some pine needles. It really freshens your breath. I mean, it's not perfect. Wow, that's roughing it. Just close your eyes and pretend, I guess. Right, exactly. And even then, it's just not the same as real toothpaste. What the hell are they talking about? Oh, okay. Hi, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, that was from, it's several years old. I can't remember exactly. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you. What's next? I brought in a tape. Oh, okay, you good? All queued up. I'm gonna go check on the boys. Oh, boys. Oh, that's for the weather, I guess. What the hell are they doing? Ben and Bob are seated on the couch poking at the electronic innards of a radio, so then it won't mute while it scans between stations. Okay, because that's where they live, right? No, you just want the constant static noise. Right, the noise. That's where they live. They don't live anywhere, they're ghosts. Okay, why does it matter where you tune the radio? It's like soil in your garden. You need rich soil, right? Mashed up rotted leaves and stuff, like compost. Oh, how's the show? What the hell are you doing? Working on the new Ghost Box. This guy Frank wrote about it in his newsletter. The Paranormal Periodical. No, that's Sylvia's. Frank's is the Ghost Gazette. The radio crackles as it scans rapidly across the spectrum. Snippets of voices mixed with colored noise and unfamiliar interference patterns. Did you hear that? That was definitely a voice from beyond the grave. Sounded like, I clearly heard dogwood in there. Yeah, kinda. Sounded more like frogwood to me. What the hell is frogwood? I don't tell the ghost what to say. Did you hear that, Emily? Must have been dogwood. I guess it doesn't matter. The ghost voices don't really come out until you play back the recording later. They only exist in recordings, like a copy without an original, a mirror reflecting something that isn't in the room. Like a vampire. Wait, no, that's backwards. A vampire has no reflection. Yeah, vampires are pretty mundane by comparison. They're just a mashup of some creepy things we already knew about. Cannibalism, hypnotism, madness, bats. Yeah, I see bats every night. Bats aren't weird at all. Ghosts, though, we need a whole new framework to think about ghosts. So, the ghosts speak and we can't hear it, but the tape recorder can hear it. Is that right? I don't know. Sometimes I think it's more like the recording itself is a ghost. Like, that's what ghosts are, recordings of events that didn't happen, when something keeps leaving new marks even after it's gone. False memories. Anything that you want to tell us about that tape? Everything on that tape was wild. Really, everything. Wild stuff indeed. Even the horses? Everything on the tape was wild. Donut party. I told everyone they had amazing crawlers, trying to convince them to stop there with me anytime we were in the area. But the reason it stuck in my head was the name. I just thought it was funny. Were the horses wild? I thought those were the horses here. Oh, the neighbors? We call the horses here the neighbors. No, I didn't recognize that one. One morning on our way back after a late gig, just as the sun was coming up, Ben and Bob and I found ourselves on a 65 by the Sonora exit at prime donut eating hours, so we stopped by. I don't think there are any wild horses anymore. Really? How could that be? Oh well, they've all been domesticated. Are the neighbors domesticated? You don't own them. They're feral? It wasn't called Donut Party, it was just called Donuts. I said I thought they'd changed the name, but why? And then I noticed there was a party supply store across the street. The donuts weren't even very good. But the weird part is, I still fantasize about stepping in by the real donut party some morning and having one of those amazing crawlers. In fact, the desire's only grown more intense. Oh, right. In your documentary, you said that people who used to live here had freed their horses. Exactly. But you can free your pet cat, but it won't turn back into a panther. Right. That's kind of haunting. Kind of ghost, like Ben was saying. But everything is a ghost around here these days. It's a ghost town, with people still living in it, against all reason. Most of the houses are empty. There's always been people here after the House of Nothing, the community airstrip, then the company town, then Webb. What about the dogs? Oh yeah, was the dog wild? Everything on the tape was wild. Just as the last group dies out, some new utopian project always finds a way to take hold. What is it about this place? It must be the well. Didn't look wild to me. I guess it's a matter of perspective. I'm not sure I agree, but now it's time for the weather. Thanks again, Ron. We're hanging on long past our expiration date. Well, the weather should be pretty wild. I can hear it for myself right now. Yeah, getting pretty intense out there. Do you get storms like this a lot? More and more. Right, of course. And then, of course, there's the actual ghost. Alright, here's Elmo with the weather report, and the lucky us. We also have Cyrano Cole, who stopped by to add some drama, musically. I hear he's gonna be at the Rum Colony later tonight if you need a cocktail after the show. So, let's go live to Elmo for the weather report. Is Elmo ready? I should make sure the camera's pointed at him. The room is filling with water. Hey. How did he work out these ratios of oil, water, and dyes? It seems so precise the way he drips them in a little half drop at a time. Must have been a lot of trial and error just staring at a circle of light on the wall. Where do you get your supplies, Elmo? Ben has a guy in... Oh wait, you mean the projection stuff? I mail-ordered these candle dyes. This other stuff is just mineral oil like you can get at the drugstore. The projector, somebody just left it here, man. Incredible. Actually, it was the girl who does the pirate video stuff, you know, jamming our signal. Weaver. Yeah, our resident ghost. You really think she's dead? Does it matter? What do you mean? Alive or dead, a ghost is just what happens when a person is gone. It's still taking up space. Hey, you think she'll get us tonight? It's about time, right? He's right, we're about due. Plus, Saturn's in retrograde. So I hear. Not that she keeps a strict schedule, but it's never longer than a month or two between. What does Mimi call them? I know they're bad for the general vibe around here, but can I be honest? Kinda like it when she busts in, takes over our signal. It's like a log falling on the road. It reminds you that this is all used to be trees. Interventions. Performances were cool though. Never saw her perform, but I heard about it. Oh yeah, I saw her do it a few times. I was into it. First time she jammed her signal and showed up on my broadcast, I didn't know who she was. She'd already disappeared when I came in and took over her old job. She did lectures, right? Yeah, you could say that. I thought of them as storytelling sessions. She talked for hours and shuffled through slide after slide of shapes and numbers and constellations. Who knows what any of this meant? Everyone was so excited and confused and scared a little. On the defensive, they still are. And this is her projector. Right. I don't know where she got it, though. It still works really well. I got a spare bulb at a resale shop, but I haven't had to use it yet. Strange, I never think of what she's doing as... I never think of what she's doing as hostile, really. Sounds like Elmo has the same impression. What happened to the rest of her stuff? I bet her slides are still here in the studio. Maybe with the poster. Sherry has all Weaver's old notebooks. I know that. She keeps them in her archive, you know? The big blue filing cabinet with the daisies painted on. Anyway, The really hard part to find is these two pieces of glass. They have to be paired very precisely. I had to get these from Clock Store over in Glasgow. That's where they keep coming from. That's where they come from, clock faces. Thanks for the tips. Anytime. So, next we have a selection from Video Data Bank. You're gonna like this one, Maya. This one's about caves. Local caves. We play this one a lot. It's pretty cool. Oh, but we have a phone call. Should we get it now or should we wait? I'll get it now. Hello? All packed to lunch. Sounds like it's gonna be a long one. Hey, babe. Was she nice to you? Well, that's good to hear. Talk to anyone else and it's like she had a second head. One of our little mysteries, like the out of town man. Oh really? Did you know him well? I had no idea. Justice someday. What a waste. Well, have fun. I'm gonna see if Geoff is done. Mine's dead. Hello? Is that the storm or was it the damn phone lines? Man, they're really flaky. Business as usual. His really soothing voice. That's Geoff. He's a regular caller. He's asleep. Oh. Maya indicates Ron was falling asleep in his chair. Oh, well, let him sleep. Okay, well, let's play the tape. This is Cave Art. It's a classic around here. Looks like Mo's got this one all queued up. Way to go, Mo. So if Hoover's a ghost, by some agreed upon definition and mechanics, that means Webb is haunted. Should we be doing something about that? Aren't you supposed to, like, have an exorcism or something? I mean, you can't just leave a place haunted. That would be negligence. I'd miss her, though. I guess there are good ghosts and bad ghosts, like spiders. Good in the garden, bad in the shower. A loud crashing noise from outside wakes Ron. What the hell? What was that? I'll check it out. Should we go help? Oh no. Oh, the tape is over. What did you think? The floor is soaked. That was great. Yeah, I like that one. Kind of. That sounded pretty close. Oh no, was it power out or just the lights? I don't know. I'll take a look. Maybe fuse blew on the relay or something. Some scared rat chewed a wire. Abandoned ship. Just kidding. Guess I'll take a look around, see if anything's smoking. A ghost. It's Weaver. A tornadoes? Poor thing. Are you having trouble with... Spoke too soon. Thought your power was out. Yeah, it just came back on. Weird. Good though. You made it in this storm? I'd never miss the evening broadcast. To be honest, it's the only thing I ever get to share my work. The only time I ever get to share my work. Carrying a torch for the out-of-towner. Of course, that's great. I think they have some paper towels over by the set. Oh, thank you. Well, ready to go? Ready. It really doesn't. Nobody else seems concerned about it. Did you fix it? Just came back on its own. It'll take a second for the equipment to warm back up, and we'll be on air again. It's a disaster out there. The neighbor's barn is basically underwater. Wow, so just completely flooded. I passed Ron on the way in. He's going to take a look to see if there's anything he can do. Will they be okay? Ron knows what he's doing. He used to be a firefighter. It's a little bit different though, right? I guess. Nikki hands paper towels to Rita. Oh, thanks. Nikki pulls the journal. Wait, Nikki hand. Oh, somewhat paper towel. I see. Nikki pulls the journal out of her jacket pocket. I brought my work? Good. Nikki reads her poetry. It's a weekly feature of the broadcast. Great, I look forward to hearing it. Yeah, I just hope we can keep going. We lost power a little while before, right? Better get started then. Be out of town. What eagle flew you to your final bed? It was not men who brought you there to sleep. The men who left you bloodied then and fled had chosen mud and muddy-watered creek. Did wild turkeys gobble, dote and care, and wipe the moss beneath your eyelids clear? Did cardinals pull the twigs out from your hair, and wash your hands and feet and trim your beard? When wood ducks dressed you in your resting gown, and pigeons fashioned shoes from leaves and bark, who then sewed flowers into a burial crown, the one who made your headdress was a hawk. The men who broke your body, where were they? The vulture stayed home on your funeral day. Emily, look at the monitor. Dude, be quiet. We're live right now. No, we're not. Look. There she is. Elma was right. What's wrong? It's Weaver. Tonight? Sorry about this, Maya. What's going on? Local prankster. She changed her signal once. Whenever the stars align. Not the word I would use. Damn, so what do you do about it? Just wait until she's done. We've never been able to stop her from jamming us. We don't even know how she does it. Should be back on in a minute, though. Act V. Did I take my antidepressants this morning? Good question. Probably. Hell of a storm. Oh, is that a horse? The neighbor. Oh, I get it. Neighbor. Poor horse. That's everything, right? How did this all fit in that truck? Bigger on the inside. Doctor Who. I think it rained. So we hear. Worms are gonna be out for sure. Have you ever heard a worm sing? You must hold your ear to the ground. It's very soft. The worm song is completely unique. So where's 5 Dogwood Drive? No idea. Maybe we should split up. Holler if you find anything. Oh, I'm the cat. And I don't have a horseshoe. I have a buggy. Well, what do you do now? Sorry, I'm just upset. You're right. So not too sad. No, I think it should be happy. Right. It's a remembrance. Right. Like a monument. Totally. So they should be represented with dignity and respect, of course. Of course. But not to the point where it makes everyone feel have to be serious when they're standing under it. Does that make sense? No. Yeah, it definitely does. I think I have an idea. Great. I'll just dig in. Thanks, Marianne. Happy to help. Think it'll rain anymore? No, I don't see any clouds. It'll probably rain anyway. Just our luck. Oh, really? He thinks it's gonna rain again tomorrow. I don't know, animals have a sense for the weather. Cool house. Just got a little banged up in the storm. At first they only observed the truck from a distance. The truck, why can't I click that? It was an alien carcass, something that made more sense in death than in life. The company had dropped it off in the middle of the day. When everyone was at the plant, they let it sit overnight, alone and strange. Nikki thought it was ridiculous, but Ron approved. To Elmo, the truck was simply beautiful. The town didn't produce much garbage anyway, she said. Who would drive it, and where? The locals had turned to gardening when the company stopped stocking canned vegetables, so there was very little garbage to be hauled off anymore. Everyone had to agree this was money and attention that would have been better spent addressing the town's drainage problems. Maybe finally get started on the Dan Messianic ditch. Still, they had a few things to dispose of: broken flower pots, empty glass bottles, clothes that didn't fit anymore. They gradually fell into the habit of collecting waste and carrying it to the truck. Once a month, some shadows would come in from the night woods and haul the garbage away on a cart. What the? It's a ghost. This old girl is operated by pulleys, except for the throttle. I could do that. I admire your confidence. Just little bent metal. Never skyworthy again in a few hours. I've been doing this a long time, kid. Yeah, but what about the ghost? A family of ghosts. At the TV station, there's the crow. Elmo gave Rita a tour of the cameras and wiring. She'd just been through a certificate program on public broadcasting at the community college, so no surprises there. Nikki showed her the video data bank, James demonstrated the sand and image processor, and then Ron came barreling in with an urgent expression. We did enter the public broadcasting program at Fishtrap Lake Community and Technical College with a vague desire to be a newscaster. One of her instructors got her excited about pirate television, and she followed threads through TV and activist communities and found herself here somehow. It wasn't quite the radical guerrilla television crew she dreamed of joining. His group seemed more interested in sharing the town's home movies than culture jamming and interfering with corporate stations, but she liked to focus on local concerns. Ron's news was clearly bad news. Rita's heart sank a little as they listened. She knew things were unraveling. Knew from experience what that looked like. But as she listened to Ron detail the power company's sudden withdrawal from town affairs, she heard other possibilities. She studied their faces and found concern, for sure, but also something like relief, hope, an awakening of a play. An awakening of play. Nikki looked like she might have been daydreaming. There were people, Rita decided, ready to step out of the company's shadow and build something of their own. Ron said the TV station would still be funded by court order. Could that be their anchor? Oh. Oh. This building. 6 or 7 men stood in the sun about a dozen yards from the ditch, and he could hear them laughing. He tried not to hear them. Instead, he listened to the shovel punching through the dirt as he shaped the trench. It was wet dirt, mud really. It made a hungry sound as he shaped the trench walls. Glare from the noon sun made his sinuses tingle. The trench was about a foot wide now. By the time he was done, he expected it would be about twice that, and run most of the way from the middle of the town over to where it could drain off into the creek. Out-of-towner stuck his shovel into the dirt and squeezed the bridge of his nose. He sneezed and took a swig of his thermos. The laughter quieted into greedy chuckles, and he could feel the men approaching. kind of fish are those? They're goldfish. Sounds like a good job. My job today is to write this poem. Who's it for? It's for the neighbors. Waffles for any weather. She's deep in slumber. Listen to that. Blue. It's making me a bit sleepy. The rhythm of her breathing, it's nice, hypnotic. Parrots. Jorge scanned the shelf. He quickly found the book he was looking for. There were only a few dozen left, more shelves than books now, the result of an experiment called the New Selection. Privately, he called it the Purge. But only privately, in small groups of reliable complainers, the unspoken rule was to hold back criticism as long as possible. Experiments needed time to unfold naturally without the interference of doubt. Jorge would have preferred to complain more freely. Fraser proposed and executed experiments just like any other community member, but his experiments had a scorched earth quality. They were all destructive. He moved from one area of the community life to the next in search of excess to cut back. Lately he turned his sight to the library. The New Selection meant decimating their store of books according to Fraser's own inscrutable criteria. Now we are guaranteed something vital. Every time we take a book off the shelf, no more time lost to printed chaff. Fraser's colorless voice echoed in Jorge's mind. He felt like spitting. Instead, he tucked the book under his arm and set off. Lots of birdies. Hi, kitty. Follow a bird up here. These folks, the one who built this thing, they chase birds too. Ghost. That's what they wrote. They followed some migrating birds up here from Central America. Somewhere up to Florida. And then here. Well, that's what they wrote anyway. Guess it might have been a metaphor. How'd you get out of there? Slipped into a stream and held my breath as it carried me deep underground. Then what happened? Then I found the library of television. There were TVs everywhere as soon as you walked in the door. Every channel was playing at once. I had one eyeball pointed at a cooking show and the other at a crime show. If I had stayed any longer, it would have split into 1,000 different people. Glad you got out of there. Yeah, but now I kind of miss it. Did I tell you I discovered the place where all the garbage goes? I've always wondered. Do they just let it pile up somewhere forever? Oh no, it's much more exciting than that. What they do is take some water out of the ocean and replace it with garbage. Someday the ocean will be nothing but garbage. The fish will learn to breathe garbage, and we will learn to drink it. I got to ride in a big truck and a tugboat. Then we both had quite an adventure. We should stick together. I agree completely. Where are you going? Shouldn't have happened. We should have prepared better. But most of all, that damn company who built this place and left it only half built when they pulled out of town. Oh, blue. And now you'll return to Chicago? I was thinking I'd drive for a while. I've had enough driving. Yeah, all night you said, right? Look what I found. What is that, an animal bone? It's a pipe, I think. Super ancient. It's probably 1,000 years old. I don't even smoke. Oh well, just an observer anyway. It's beautiful, right? This big mound. Most of these ancient earthworks are thought to be burial mounds, but this one definitely isn't. To be honest, I don't know what it was for. It's weird, sleepy singing again. Kind of reverent. A choir, maybe? My eyes aren't adjusting to this light. Should we head back underground? Let's see this through. Could be fun. You got nothing to say? I guess head back to the white building? These are all the antiques, I guess. All the ghosts in the crow are... Yep, everybody's at the building. I'm coming for you, Blue. Do you hear music? Just birds singing. Just showed up. When? Sometime last night, I think. Never noticed it before. Nobody lives here? If someone does live here, they keep it pretty tidy. It's actually quite spacious. Yeah, you can fly a plane in here. Nice. Real nice. Light in here is pretty great. Good space. To sneeze a book. What would you read? Science fiction. All about sneezes. Could set up a new workshop here. Could fix TVs again. It's a big dog house. It's a lot of house for one old dog. I like to spread out on the floor. You get more sun that way. There's so much stuff just spread all over the place from the storm. Maybe we could put some of the town's old stuff here, like on display, like a museum. So whoever lives here next will know what came before. You think more people will come after these people leave? People will come. We saved what we could. Hey cat, I'll race you. From here to the pile of mail. Stand here's the starting line. Ready? Set. I don't even know where the pile of mail is. Is that mail? That looks like... I'm a freaking cat. Until finally it just gave way. Well, you did good work. It's not your fault. They didn't let you finish, that's all. They let you finish? Forget about it. This place would be dry as a bone. You always did good work. It's a memorial. It's totally broken. Waterlog tapes. They might still play, who knows. But all the VCRs are shot. I don't even know where to put all of this. I hate to call it trash. Wonder if that garbage truck still works. Nice little setup you got. Yeah, it's alright. Many afternoons have come and gone right here, listening to the radio, taking a break from some maintenance work. How's she looking? Oh, I'll have her up and running again this afternoon, no problem. Just a couple bends in the wrong places. Well, it's just lucky I have all the parts here. Difficult to mail order with no roads. This was one thing Cass always insisted on about this place. No roads leading in or out. We can always fly. Does it work? I don't know. Think you wind it here. No, it doesn't work. I could probably fix it. Oh, you could definitely fix it. Then you'd have a new robot friend. And I'd have a new robot friend. Well, that's incredibly sad. Don't scare me at all. If you met him, you'd feel the same way, I'm sure. I don't believe old Jorge would ever hurt us. He's kind and a bit of a bookworm, as far as I can tell. I'll leave the radio on for him at night. He seems to like the AM call-in shows, but just out of tune. What is it about the radio they love? They all love it. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad I won't be here to care for him anymore. For me, it's back on the road, a performance in Nashville. I'll play music with a friend in a small bar. We have performed together before. He sings beautifully but sadly. But with everyone gone, who'll feed the ghosts? She stood in her own shadow. A few deer hunters and talkers walked past, but said nothing to the seer. Didn't even look. She studied the path. This was the path the seer had found in her scrying game. A series of private dice rolls and an inscrutable diagrams. The community trusted this game. It had led them to fish-filled streams, intimate knowledge of the elements and the stars, even here to the cenote settlement. They trusted it without understanding it, and now the game had revealed to the seer this vital route, which would lead them to safety before the next floods came. At the end of the route, she'd been a safe, quiet place. Caverns of leathery black birds, a lake of eyeless fish, a towering flame. Now the diver walked the mounds, memorizing the route. He was almost ready. Yeah, I'd be worried about that too. Well, and it isn't just the rodents. The floors are mostly rotted, I think. You'd fall right through. I'm surprised they're still standing after last night. Oh no, most of them have good bones. It's just these ones the power company built that are rotten. Yeah, the power company moved in here a while back, set it up like their own little town. For the workers. But they didn't build them too good, huh? It's garbage, they couldn't be bothered. I lived in that one over there. In fact, when I first came here to work at the power plant. I wouldn't set foot in there now, though. Hi, kitty. Beautiful day. Guess the weather was pretty bad last night, though. Fanciful meow. Some of these are really old. Maybe we should open them. Says not to open other people's mail, kid. I know what he said. But if they're not even here to open it themselves. I won't tell a soul. Not sure what it wants me to do. Rita tore up weeds. Elmo stood next to her with a bucket. She passed him the uprooted weeds, and he stuffed them in a bucket. They worked this way for a few hours. Dark clouds drifted slowly closer, but wouldn't arrive until evening. Rita and Elmo left to get some tea. The bucket of weeds sat warming in the sun. The dandelions wilted and clover dried. Some wayward insects continued to eat. When Rita and Elmo returned, they assumed the same roles and continued working. The garden was coming along as well as they could hope. Given months of neglect, when the plant shut down, the company abruptly pulled out of the area and took a large part of the town's population with it. This included the Carver family, who tended the garden for the largest and most productive in town for years. Now the garden would be cared for by a new family and feed what was left of the town and whatever it became next. They didn't know much about gardening, but they were prepared to learn on the job. They knew for sure they would plant tomatoes. Those had grown well in the garden in the past. Rita and Elmo worked until it started to rain. The rain washed their sweat into the dirt. Hello. Be too wrong to bury a wild animal. This is the grave of a man. Some stubborn old man not wanting the town to fuss over him. I'm sure this is what Uncle Andreas wants. Well, then we should give it to him. And you, my friend, are you looking for a place to rest? It's a good place as any to find a rest, I think. The seer reclined high in a tree, carving fine details into small wooden pipe. She loved this spot, the height, the distance. She was always at distance, watching everyone work. From this height, she could see the earth movers shaping the mounds under the draftsman's supervision. She could see him inspecting his plan, the drawing he'd made from her game, the map. Everyone's happier after they pass. It's only natural. Spirit has no weight. In fact, it lifts us up a little. You again. Feel free to pitch in. I'm sure this would go a lot quicker with two of us on it. Busy. What, left a sunbeam unslept in? Suit yourself. Clyde lay on his back on the runway, hands folded behind his head, halfway between dreams and the afternoon sun. He entertained the momentary delusion that he'd survived a plane crash, and he was vaguely unhappy when the dream faded. The runway smelled like oil, years of leaky light aircraft taking off and landing. All the state said they wanted was to knock down some trees, many trees, and build a road tying this small town to the larger web of streets and highways that entombed the rest of the country. But Clyde and his inner circle of stunt pilots turned mail carriers knew the road would be the end of their secluded paradise. Choppy seas today, Captain. How about Greg Rabbit? Greg the Rabbit? No, like Rabbit is his last name. There's no Greg or Rabbit. we please end this game? What else is there? To go back underground? It seems the only two people left. Oh. The library, what a mess. I'm basically like this building's only next of kin. I don't think nobody living has spent as much time exploring it. There's a pantry in here somewhere stacked full of canned papaya. I like that kind of history, the lived in details. That's how you know people have always been people, always made choices and nothing was inevitable. This was a special place. I feel a little guilty, but it's time to move on, you know? Oh, hi, aren't you? Yes, I am. We were talking about the library. Are you in the band? What do you think, kid? We got room for a drummer? I'm great at drums. I know where all the buttons are. Ron dug a grave. Ever since then, I've just been treating it like a little cafe for the town. You like to cook? Sure, make you some waffles that'll blow your mind if the power was back on. If you want, and you promise to keep it a secret, I'll pass on my waffle recipe before I head out. Why so secretive? The mystery adds to the flavor. Well, I know I'm not sticking around. You think you'll do anything with this place? People gotta eat, right? "3A, late paper flat. 3B, bring bottom left corner. Doing origami." Nikki applied only gentle pressure. Looser flowers felt more alive. She rolled her wrists. It was the 6th hour of her assigned company store shift, and she'd made dozens of flowers. Ron had brought a bouquet and cleaned out their stock that afternoon. Repeat 4A through 7 for each petal, taking care not to rip the filaments. She imagined the insects that would pollinate paper flowers, watercolor bees or wasps that left ink stains when they stung. A commotion outside caught Nikki's attention. Man yelling, Blue's landing. She put down her work and stepped out just in time to see the crowd disperse. Clyde and Cass sat cross-legged in the shade of the light aircraft. Cass shuffling cards and Clyde absently flipping through a stack of unopened letters. They called themselves the Dervish Brothers Flying Circus, a name that outlived the Dervish, nay Dalton, brothers themselves, who died within the first few years. So run of the circus was left to their Aunt Cassandra, who everyone called Cass. Cass played cards and told fortunes with the same deck. Sometimes she'd switch it up mid-game or mid-divination until you never knew whether you were winning or losing, or if good luck in the game might mean bad luck in some other part of your life. Demand for aerial stunts having faded almost completely, and many of their company having died or aged out of the profession, Clyde and Cass found for their remaining pilots a steady flow of contract work delivering mail to remote rural areas, but this place was abandoned. Cass's cards predicted they'd be here for quite a while. And then the ghosts disappear. Only one ghost. Okay. More stuff over there. Take off in your aeroplane. Chop the cat up with your aeroplane. Where are you flying to? Flying. I'm just checking to see if everything's working okay. You could fly a subway if you wanted to, though, right? Of course. So why don't you? Here we go. Keep your distance now. Oh god, I'm the kid. Part 4, subsection G, notes on inhabitants. Most have relocated already prior to the transitional event. Resident or visitor? I haven't decided yet. Well, you may not have much time. I'm making a survey of the site for potential reclamation. Initial results are promising. I think this may be the moment we finally reclaim this ghost town. There he goes. Can we go in after him? In the bushes? Yeah. After the raccoon. Yeah. No. But it's probably full of thorns. The raccoon. Okay. Oh, don't pout. Tell you what. That raccoon comes back into town, we'll leave some food out for him. That was a big bird shadow. Somewhere in the graveyard. Why not? It's pretty disrespectful. Fucking kids. put your sign away that fast? So weather makes 6 feet. That's the standard for people anyway, but 6 feet's the rule for a person, and let's say the average person is 5'9". Neighbors we're about 15 hands, so that's pretty close. At least I'm putting the math in. If this were still company property, they'd be off to a landfill. Those greedy sons of bitches had finished that drainage ditch when they were supposed to. I'd hike through the woods and give them a piece of my mind. I like this knife. It has an aura. An aura. Yeah, like it wasn't exactly used to cut apples. It's meant for greater things, like oranges, or any other fruit. Yes, ma'am. Ow, my shoulder. Seems to be working okay. Julian's gonna love this. Who's Julian? Who? Yeah, it's amazing. Is the cat Julian? Can we please end this forever long game? Yeah, I'll miss him for sure. Beautiful creatures and so thoughtful. I bet. Where do you think he'll go? Oh, I don't know. For now, I'm just poking around the Rebel. Emily pulls a videotape out of the Rebel. Home movies? Could be. Showed me a lot of them at the station. Pulls a piece of slate adorned with a partial cut diagram of the Rebel. That's got one of those. Some kind of image filter. Very little I can salvage here. Wouldn't mean anything anyway. It's kind of a package deal. You need the tapes and the station and the people. If one part is missing, the whole thing falls apart. I don't know, just a bunch of old stuff. It's hard to imagine someone ordering this. These things specifically. Why these things? Fully rocking chair. It's nice, but it's so peculiar. Someone really wanted this chair. Now we're setting it all up, trying to reverse engineer this person we never met. I kind of feel like we are that person. We're making that person right now together. That helps. The deer huddled in a small cave. The deer hunters ran by, shielding their eyes from the torrential rain. It must have looked like she was taking shelter, but she was waiting for the water to rise and envelop her. She wedged her leg and shoulder into rocky corners, settling in. The floor was slick and muddy, and she had a feeling of drifting with the water. Like the cave was cramped, but she closed her eyes. She wondered where the diver was now, if he had found the end of the route. Was he on his way back, or had he been lost underground? Either way, it was too late. She thought back to the first flood, long before her birth, a flood she had only seen in dice rolls. She stayed there for a while and then opened her eyes again. Now the water was crossing her heart. She took the game pieces from her bag and released them gently into the flood. The one with the embroidered bird on it. This one? Does it have a bird on it? I think so. Don't you know what a bird looks like? Yeah, but it's pretty small. I thought it was some letters. I guess that could be a bird. Well, it's a rag, ain't it? As long as it's a rag, I guess it'll work for mopping sweat. My shoulder, my shoulder. This book's in pretty good shape. City of Ladies. Waffles for any weather. Is it getting darker? I even lived in there for a bit. Too drafty. I moved out one winter and never looked back. It gets cold. Sure, when the sun is down. Nice old church, though. Really nice. Could make a nice workshop. I'm pretty sure it's getting darker. Hey y'all, thanks for sticking around for this. I know we've all got places to, well, if anybody still needs somewhere to go, be sure to speak up, okay? I think Ron's heading through the woods tonight back to the road if you want to caravan. You staying, Em? Sure, I'll stay. At least for a while, I just want to make sure everyone has got somewhere to go. For right now, though, we've got some friends to bury. The neighbors. Nikki has a poem and I have a song. But if anyone wants to say anything, I'll go first. The neighbors were kind, gentle, beautiful horses. I used to go on walks with the silver one out in the woods by... Why didn't anyone ever give them names? The silver one, well, I guess he was gray, but his coat looked silver in the light, so I always called him that in my head. And the other one is the other one. And I love these horses. But you'd never know it if you heard me talk about them like that. So I'm sorry, Silver One and Other One. Sorry I don't have better names for you. Also, I'm bad at this. Anybody else? I just want to say these horses used to crap on my floors, but it never bothered me too much. I never mentioned it to anyone. I didn't want to make a thing of it, but if we're clearing the air, well, that happened and it's okay. I mean recently too. I was cleaning up horse crap just a couple days ago, but I'm saying it was okay. It would have been okay if any of you wanted to crap on my floors. I just want to say that. I would have cleaned up after any of you. Thanks, Ron. Think about when all those canned carrots showed up in the mail. Somebody was calling around with some canned carrots they wanted to get rid of, and I guess Consolidated Power got word of it. So these cans of carrots showed up in the mail, and we didn't know where they came from at first. I tried some out, no flavor, just 2 of them. Some of them were gray, just awful. Rita said that's still okay to eat, like sometimes carrots just lose their color if they sit in a can too long, but nobody wanted them really. Well, Aunt Connie come on TV with a message like, hope the horses are enjoying their treat, and we thought, okay, these are for the neighbors. Sure, horses love carrots, right? But the neighbors wouldn't touch them, wouldn't even look at them. You'd think they were canned rocks. We opened a couple dozen and set them all out by the water trough, and they were still there a day later. Even the raccoons steered clear. And then, of course, Consolidated sent us an invoice for every can we'd opened, already made out in company script. How do you like that? Okay, I guess we'd better move on. Thanks for sticking around. Like Emily said, it's so good to have you all here for this. I know some people like to leave early. I don't judge for that. Maya, you and our other visitors might not know about the out-of-towner. He came here to work for the company to dig a ditch, and the company worked him good and hard and for less than he was worth, but it wasn't enough. They had to use him up completely. After that, we became ungovernable, first out of shame, then grief, then anger. I wanted to write this poem because the neighbors led me through that time. I used to sit with them out in the woods. There's a clearing out there. It's about 20 minutes walk directly away from everything. I mean, there's no reason to walk that direction unless you're going to this clearing. The neighbors like to graze there. There's a certain grass they like the best. It only grows in partial shade, deep in the woods. I'd go out to that clearing and just watch them in my shame, grief, and anger. And they knew, any of you who spent some time with these horses will remember, they knew just what I was feeling. I could tell, it radiated off them like sweat evaporating, creatures of pure compassion and forgiveness. That kind of forgiveness Frost meant when he wrote something we somehow haven't to deserve. Something we somehow haven't to deserve. When I go, I want to be buried out there in that clearing and feed the grass they loved. Look for me under your boot soles, as the fella says. I think the grass will never grow again. Here where it grew so sweet, not only clay will rise to meet the morning air. Who would eat grass now when neighbors sleeping lay? Our neighbors were the best of us, of course. It's always so. Our better selves, clearer of ourselves, where we can see their glory glow. They glow now underground, our friends with love. I have no will now left to comfort you, so let me try instead to share your woe. Here where we lay our town and friends to rest, may yet some day new and hale grass grow. Then we buried the horses.
I've heard of a land of joy and peace and wonderful life. A beautiful place of mansions fair and skies so bright, where all who believe
Look at the ghost people in the background.
dear forever shall stay. And having been saved by grace divine, I'm going that way. I'm going that
More
way.
ghosts are growing in.
I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way. Well, glorious news I tell and sing as onward I go. For those who are still astray in sin, my Savior may know. I want them to sing that praise above some beautiful day. For glory to Him who died for me.
Hello.
I'm going that way. I know I shall meet Him at the gate when trials are past. I know I shall meet Him face to face in glory at last. Oh, I believe that when we meet, well done, He'll say, while trusting that soul redeeming love, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray. Just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way.
Hooray for costing $2,000 to fix my car. On top of the $500 test. Brr. I probably would have had more tolerance for how long this ending was if I hadn't been streaming for 5 hours already today. Act 1 restart? No thank you. Very good game though. Just don't do it in a situation where you have to read out loud the entire thing.